Last year, there was a whole host of running backs that had franchise tags on them when the new league year week hit. This year, none. Not so much. Handicap the running back market for me and what people should watch out for.
I would say the three that are going to be, the ones that, and they all could have some of the similar types of suitors that are going to get the top of the market type of value, at least in terms of this running back class, are going to be Saquon, it's Josh Jacobs, and it's Derrick Henry. Now, Christian McCaffrey is still the highest paid running back at $16 million a year. Saquon would have loved to get there. He turned down a lot of money from the Giants on multiple occasions, both last March and last July. I find it hard to believe that even by hitting the free agent market, he's going to get into that territory. But him or Josh Jacobs are probably the two that if somebody's getting 11, 12, $13 million per year, it's probably one of those two guys. Derrick Henry, a little bit different category because he's older. He's led the league in carries 4 out of the last 5 years, so there's a lot of mileage on him. But in terms of a short deal, maybe it's 2 for 20 to a team like Baltimore that has an obvious need at the running back position. That wouldn't surprise me at all. And then, in terms of everybody else, there's a bunch of really good running backs. I mean, Austin Eckler has been as productive as any running back during the course of his career. The numbers were down last year. There's a lot of different factors that were involved with that. He might be looking at, maybe it's a 1-year deal with a lot of upside for an Austin Eckler. DeAndre Swift, another guy who I don't see DeAndre Swift being somebody who's getting close to $10 million per year, but certainly I anticipate he's going to have a market year. The ones that'll move quickly, Josh Jacobs, Saquon, and Derrick Henry. With Jacobs and Saquon, there's certainly a possibility they go back to their existing teams. I know how much Mark Davis thinks of Josh Jacobs, what a tone setter is, what a good locker room guy he is. I would fully anticipate in these coming days here, the Raiders will make some type of a push to try to keep him. With the Giants, it's kind of like what we talked about with Kirk Cousins, where after, they've made several runs at getting a Saquon deal done, they didn't tag him at $12 million, in part because it's probably a good thing if he goes out and sees is somebody like the Chargers with a new coaching staff and Jim Harbaugh, that they roll it out and give him $15, $16 million a year. Anything's possible. The Chargers obviously would need to clear a lot of space to start making moves like that. But let Saquon go out, find out what the real market is. Then the Giants can see whether or not that's a place that they're willing to go with.
All right, Tom. I know there's no crystal ball, but before you go, and I know this is not your usual bag here, but give me the surprise. There's always one where it's like, whoa, that team did that with that player. Give me one you think that's going to happen Monday or Tuesday.
I think that the surprise things that are going to happen over the next several days here. I'll speak somewhat broadly here, Rich, but
okay.
I'll be as good of a roadmap as I can. I think that there are going to continue to be offensive linemen who get numbers who you've never heard of, and you're going, someone just gave Jonah Jackson $17 million a year. Mm-hmm. There are some offensive linemen, just Robert Hunt is going to get a ton of money. Mike Onwenu, who's doing his own deal from the Patriots, he might get a big deal. There's a bunch of those guys who are not household names at all, mm-hmm. and you see the numbers and you're like, who is this guy? Mm-hmm. And the fact is they're good players, and that's a market that while we've seen others shrink, the guard market is absolutely exploding. And then I think that if you get some surprises in terms of the big names, it might be some of these receivers being on the move. Because once Mike Evans re-signed with the Buccaneers, once Pittman and T. Higgins got taken off the market, those are really your top 3 potential free agents who are now not available to teams. Calvin Ridley is probably the next one. There's a lot that teams have to dig into in terms of how things played out in Atlanta. He had the year-long suspension, goes to Jacksonville, was kind of up and down, was finding his legs through the course of the season here. Beyond that, there's not like a clear – every year we got a receiver or two who get crazy money, and those are the ones that everybody's talking about. I don't know that we have that guy this season. Somebody will give Gabe Davis some money. Somebody will give Tyler Boyd some money. But, is anybody getting $12, $15 million besides maybe Calvin Ridley? I don't know that I necessarily see that. But you've got, some of those receiver names that we've talked about in the past, guys like Jerry Jeudy, Mike Williams from the Chargers would be a guy with a big number, would be a logical trade candidate. Does somebody make a run at a Stephon Diggs? I think the environment, Rich, is ripe for teams that need a veteran receiver to go out and at least explore the trade market, make some calls on guys that you might not normally think are available, just because if you don't get one of those guys, there's really not, again, besides maybe Ridley, there's really not a number one type of guy available.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.